Surendra, good morning. Rajkumar, good morning. Deepika, good morning. Sharanya, good morning. Blessy, good morning. Farida, good morning. And Naveed, good morning. Bhavya Shri, good morning. Sajid Hussain, good morning. Hari Surya, good morning. Bachcho, it's such a wonderful Sunday morning. I am habitual, but you people, I know that Sunday, we are not habitual of doing work on Sunday, but this 1 year you have to really indulge yourself. You have to extend your limits, stretch your limits. वो थोड़ा उसका ना फोकस को बड़ा करो. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. It was coming TKT. Yeah. So you have to stretch your limits. There will be pain, there will be dissatisfaction, there will be many a times you think that you are overstretching yourself. But beta, please understand one thing. In life, no one has ever got anything in the comfort zone. No one has aimed for NEET good morning. No one has ever achieved anything in the comfort zone. We have to stretch our limits. Okay, bachcho? So, no doubt it is a beginning, but then day by day you have to really start working little extra. Try to snatch some more minutes from the day schedule, some more hours from the day schedule, where you can work as compared to others, right? So this is a race going on, a competition going on. It is a war going on, right? So it is not that who is more powerful. It is like if I am more powerful than my enemy, then I am powerful. If I am more powerful but my enemy is even more powerful than me, then I have lost the battle. So this is a war going on, a sort of a race, right? Everyone is running very fast, and you have to really see what others are doing, and then you have to really take a big tug and try to put your chest with the winning rope. There is a winning string, and the one who touches the winning string first, he is considered as the winner. So it is like a race going on. So you have to really find your extra where you can stretch yourself extra as compared to others where others are not working and you are working. And after that, leave everything to God. If you believe in God, whosoever God, you can leave everything to God, right? And ask guidance from God only. Ask the guidance from God that please guide me so that how I can stretch my limits, how I can work more. Don't pray to God that, okay, God, I have done this much, but please take care of this test. No, God will never do this, never ever. But always ask God that how I can stretch my limits, how I can work more, right? How I can fulfill my dreams, the dreams of my parents, the dreams of my family members, my siblings around me. So always seek guidance from the God, seek guidance from the teachers, your parents, okay? So every day by day, in every way, you have to get better and better. There is a Emile Co, okay? There is a Emile, I think this QUO, spelling is not very sure about Co. It is in Google only, and he says that every day he is chanting this mantra, and the mantra was day by day, in every way, I am getting better and better. I am getting better, more better, and more better, day by day, in every way, in all subjects, in all aspects of making minimum mistakes in the test, of revising more times the same chapter of biology, revising more number of times, in every way, whatever ways that can be possible, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. This is the Emile Co. I am not very sure about the spelling of Co, but this is the mantra that he used to chant and in his life. And he has really helped others in chanting. He was a motivational speaker, and he never do anything. He just say that, okay, he give a mantra and says, chant daily, chant 20 times a day. I mean, like, whenever you are speaking to your, don't say once, say 20 times. So 20 times morning, 20 times afternoon, whenever you remember that, yes, I have to push my limits, and then think and chant this. Day by day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Even I used it personally. I used it many a times. Day by day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. So I used it for health. Day by day, in every way, I am getting healthier, healthier, and healthier. And that's how I could, come out from that, that condition from where it is difficult. Many a times people succumb in that condition, and somehow and even I also pray, I also chant the same thing for my own family members, my children, day by day, in every way, my child particularly getting better. Yes, my chanting will also influence her, maybe not fully, but somewhat influence will be there to other people also by what we chant. It is saying that when your mother and father pray to God, so those prayers are fulfilled on you. Same thing. So it's like a chanting, mantra chanting. Now, some of you can please tell me, I will not erase this, it's very important. Some of you can please tell me, what was the last thing that we have done? I think we were doing the animal tissues we were doing, okay? Tell me, beta, homeothermic animal means what? Okay, homeothermic animals are the animals which keep their internal body temperature constant, just see the word homo come from same, constant, same. So homeothermic, same therma, temperature. So those who keep the core body temperature same, they are known as homeothermic animals. Homeothermic classes of vertebrate, only two classes, birds and mammals, are homeothermic. What is other word for homeothermy? We can call them as poikilothermic. Poikilo. Just remember kilo, but before that poikilothermic, right? So the word homeothermic, and in opposition to that is poikilothermic. Now we have other words for homeothermic, okay? We have other words also for homeothermic. For example, we have a word called, yes, please, can you think of? They are called cold-blooded animals. And they are known as the warm-blooded animals, cold-blooded and warm-blooded. So homeothermic are also called warm-blooded. Now, if I ask you to put this word exothermic and endothermic, among the animals, we can call them as exothermic and endothermic. Can you please tell endothermic? Can you please tell me which one will be these are about animals, not reactions. Can you please tell me in which one we will keep? So out of these two, which one is exothermic? You can say first, I will write here first. So if you say first, that means you are saying about the poikilothermic. So type Poikilothermic are exo or endo? Exo or endo? Poikilo, Sajid, no, they are not endothermic, they are exothermic. Very good. Durga, you're right, they are exothermic. Abhiram and Sajid Hussain, very good, they are exothermic. Exothermic simply means exothermic. Exothermic means that their temperature is the outer external temperature. For example, if I keep this in sun, it will become warm, obviously, right? But if I stand in sun, might be my skin will become a little warmer, but my blood temperature will remain constant, right? So my blood temperature is its own endo temperature, endothermic. I am not dependent on the external temperature. My core body is not dependent on whether I am standing in cold or whether I am standing in a warm place, right? So homeothermic are known as endothermic, endothermic. So in any way they can ask you, okay? They can say cold-blooded or exothermic or poikilothermic. You have to remember terminology. That's what the, even medical science. See, before you come into practice, medical science is all about terminology. We are just learning more and more terms we are learning. Only when we come into practice, then we try to apply that and see on the patients. But before that, terminology. So terminology is an important thing that we have to do right now also. And even when we go to the medical college, there also lot of terms are there and we have to learn them. Come on. Now, bacho, now about the structural organization in animals. Now, in the new NCERT books, this chapter has been removed. In fact, not completely removed, but this chapter has only frog. They have given only frog as a vertebrate representative. Now, up till now, the syllabus of NEET does not include frog. In this chapter they give cockroach. They may ask question on earthworm. That is a different thing. They can ask question on frog. It's a different thing. But in syllabus wise, it was cockroach. Now, right now, we are not very sure what is going to happen this year. Whether they'll be following the new NCERT because that is their standard landmark, what they have to keep, or they will be using the same old syllabus for the NEET because they are thinking that the students who are writing this NEET, for many of them, they have not read the new books, they have really followed the old books. Right? For example, a student in class 12th, and he goes and writes the NEET. And this student has studied in class 11 the old book because new book has come just now. Right. So in class 11th, suppose if I am a student, I am a candidate who is writing NEET. I'm in my second year, and after completion of that, I'll write in 2024. I have followed the old book, right? Although they have not added anything in biology, they have only subtracted. But I'm telling you, the concept wise, the logic wise is that in class 11, they have really used the old book. Only in class 12th, they are going to use the new book, right? And this chapter is of class 11th. So what we have planned, and really we have devoted many hours in this chapter because it has several parts. Part number 1 is animal tissues. Okay, animal tissues, which is now removed from the new book. Then part number 2 is the morphology. In morphology, they have given animals like earthworm, cockroach, frog. Now, earthworm, though I will be doing in a very, very superficial way, but cockroach, no doubt, cockroach I'll be telling you, okay, but only NCERT, not even a single word outside NCERT I'll be telling you on cockroach. And frog also, and we have checked in frog, they have not added a single word or subtracted any single word from frog as they have in the old book. I mean to say they have not changed anything, they have just removed. Before frog, entire portion they have removed. And just one paragraph on organ and organ system, which is just a general thing, and we don't have any questions we can ask on that, okay? So I understand the idea behind this, what we are going to do in this chapter. Now, coming to the animal tissues. Animal tissues are basic knowledge that everyone has to know, and there are many concepts here which are used in other chapters in human physiology also. So one point I had in my mind is that I can keep this, I can remove this right now. And while doing the animal tissue, I would have taken the important points. For example, in the stomach epithelium, I would have said that there is a simple columnar glandular epithelium. In the small intestine, I would have said simple columnar glandular brush border, right? And now, what is the best thing ultimately we thought of? We as a team, not only I, we as a team of Gosalites, we'll be doing the animal tissues. For example, it's good for revision purpose also, and we will be the safest in that case, okay? So be safe, and we are starting with the animal tissues, the first part of this chapter. Animal tissues, right? We are triploblastic animals. I'm mainly talking about the human beings. So we are triploblastic animals, and all the tissues that we have arise from three germinal layers, ecto, meso, endo. We have four basic type of animal tissues. We have got epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. I can expect that I can just speak, I can just give a lecture, and only when something I write, then also you can note it down. But otherwise, things are easy, and I'll be just saying. And okay, if required, I can send you. I can now. I am also in the same group. You know, the online student group. Yesterday, I asked them to put myself. I'll share, okay, the class notes of some student, then it is a summary what I am telling you, right? So we have four types of animal tissues. We have got epithelial, connective. In terms of germinal layers, the neural tissue arise from ectoderm. The muscular and connective tissue arise from mesoderm. Epithelial, because epithelial is outside, inside, everywhere. Every organ is surrounded by and lined by. The word lining means inside. Lining means inside, okay? For example, like in clothes, we have lining. Some people give lining in trousers. We have got lining, a cloth, so we call it lining. Lining means something inside, and covering is of course outside, right? So we have got hollow organs where we have lining of epithelium. So everywhere in the body epithelium is there. So epithelium is found on ectodermal organs also, mesodermal organs also, and endodermal organs also. And therefore epithelial tissue arises from all the three germ layers, ecto, meso, endo. Now this is a simple question that someone can ask you, that epithelial tissue arise from ecto, meso, endo, all of these. Okay? Epithelial tissue, to start with, epithelial tissue, some basic characteristics of the tissue is that the cells are compactly packed. Because the definition of tissue, we know that it is the group of cells along with their intercellular substances. You can please underline this point. I can even open the NCERT and I can show you where I'm asking you to underline. A group of similar cells along with their intercellular substance. Sorry guys, I don't have that right now, okay? But I can easily download in the net. Group of cells along with the intercellular substances which are doing a particular function that is known as animal tissue. So please understand that not only the cells, but all that in between the cells or outside the cell is also considered as an animal tissue. Structural organization in animals, thankfully, The first thing we got it. I'm just skeptical. They should not open the new NCERT book. I think Elga Sam, it has got the old book. It will ask for login. We can go here and we got it. I think it's a new book. I think morphology, structure, organization in. We wanted animals, plants and animals. Okay. So plants and animals. Initially, we have plants, and then we have animals. Okay. Is a new one or old one? A group of cells, along with their intercellular substances. Ding, 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 ding. Algasem, NCERT book, class 11, morphology of flowering plants. NCERT. This is something else. We were chameleon, YouTube, sorry. You can see in your this thing. Okay, you can see. Google. On the first page itself, we opened the Google, and then what to open here? Structural organization in animals. Structural organization in animals. NCERT. Then we got Gopalganj. Hey Ishwar, ये होनी चाहिए book. Thank God. So you can see here a group of similar cells, along with their intercellular substances perform a specific function. Such an organization is called a tissue. Epithelial tissue, the cells are compactly packed. So intercellular substances are minimum in the epithelial tissue. Am I justified? Because cells are compactly packed, okay? Now epithelial tissue can be multi-layered or it can be single-layered. The lowermost layer is always lying on a base membrane. Whether it is a single layer, so all the cells lie on one basement membrane, or it is a multi-layered one, then the lowermost layer will lie on a basement membrane. Now this basement membrane is made up of protein fibers and mucopolysaccharide. You have to learn this word mucopolysaccharide for this chapter. For animal tissue, you should know what are mucopolysaccharides. Mucopolysaccharides are modified polysaccharides. The word muco, because they are sticky in nature, mucus-like, therefore the name mucopolysaccharides. Right? So I said the basement membrane is made up of protein fibers and mucopolysaccharides. Okay? So all cells lie over a basement membrane, and if it is a multi-layered one, the lowermost layer of cells lie on a basement membrane. Below the basement membrane, what do you find? You always find a connective tissue. Now, since the cells are compactly packed, there is no gap in between the cell. So, blood vessels find difficulty in penetrating, in entering into in between the cell. As a result of that, blood vessels do not enter epithelial tissue. As a result, we can call this tissue as avascular. Avascular means A means without. Without vessels, it is avascular, without any blood supply. But is it a dead tissue? No. It is a living tissue. It gets the nutrients, oxygen, metabolites from the layer below. So the connective tissue layer below, that is taking care of the epithelium. That is the guardian of the epithelium. Okay, so bachcho, I hope you understand epithelium. This is cells are compactly packed, avascular and basement membrane. Three basic things that I need to tell you about the epithelial tissue in general. Also, we can divide the epithelial tissue on the basis of how many layers are there. If there is a single layer of cell, we can call it as simple epithelium. And if there are multiple layers of cell, we can call it as compound epithelium. Compound epithelium, simple se bana compound. Simple, opposite is compound. Compound epithelium has many layers, many strata, many layers, many strata. Because it is having many strata. Strata matlab layer. Strata, many layers, plural of layers, plural of stratum. So it has got many strata. And therefore, compound epithelium can also be called, can you tell me, compound epithelium, what we can call alternate name for compound epithelium, bachcho? Compound epithelium can also be called, because it is made up of many strata, what we can call it? Stratified, Sajid, very good. We can call it as a stratified epithelium. What happened? All others are sleeping. Only one boy has answered. Where are the other guys gone? Your answers are also telling me that you are listening and concentrating. Only one is answering. What happened? Durga, okay. Stratified. Okay, Sudhir, Swati, stratified. Good. Okay, Dwarkadhish, stratified. Okay. Yes, Blessy, stratified. Compound can be called as a stratified epithelium. Very good. Now, simple epithelium can be further divided on the basis of shape of cell. Whether the cells are tall columnar, or the cells are boxy, tube-like, or the cells are flat. From tall, columnar, like pillar-like, tall pillar-like, or they are box-like, cube-like, or they are flat. And therefore we can say the first one is simple columnar, the second one is simple cuboidal, and the third one is simple squamous. Now comes the point where you have to learn the example of simple columnar, simple cuboidal, simple squamous. Remember that I am giving you the matter and also a guarantee with the matter that all questions you can answer. And another guarantee over that is very, very little matter, minimum. Below this I cannot go. And you can easily learn. So I was telling you about the simple columnar epithelium. Cells are tall, pillar-like, and what do you find below it? There is a basement membrane, and the nucleus are characteristically not in the center. ये nucleus center में नहीं है. Center लो ले दूँ. The nucleus is towards the basal side. So we can call it as basal nucleus, basal. Remember this word as basal. For simple columnar, we can call it as basal. Right, bachcho? Example of simple columnar. Acha, in most of the cases, simple columnar comes with another cell which is characteristically found in simple columnar. It is having a glass inside the cell, as if there is a glass inside the cell. A glass. A goblet. This type of glass is called a goblet. Goblet. Okay, you must have seen that in movies, or sometimes we use them for drinking mocktails. Okay, so this is a goblet, and the tall cells may have a goblet inside. It look like, so we can call them as goblet cells. And what is this here? This is a nucleus actually. The nucleus look like that. Okay. and this cell produces mucus. It is made up of a single cell. So this is a goblet cell. This motum, this is a goblet cell. 2018 question came that goblet cells are only present in which epithelium? Squamous, cuboidal, or columnar. And also by confusing stratified. Remember that stratified epithelium will not have a function of what this simple epithelium is doing. The goblet cells are only present in the columnar, simple columnar epithelium. So you'll find these goblet cells in the simple columnar epithelium, and I'll give you an example, but before that I want to tell you one thing, that the basic function of simple epithelium is secretion, absorption, diffusion, or exchange of gases, exchange of material, diffusion, or even filtration. The boundaries of the cells are so that it can form an intricate network and some jali form, and in that it filters, filtration. The functions of the simple epithelium, Malli, what are these? Secretion, absorption, diffusion, filtration. Functions of the compound epithelium, out of these four, nothing. The functions of the compound epithelium are protection. Protection against what? Against any friction, mechanical stress, or maybe a chemical, right? So it provides protection against physical and chemical stresses. It provides protection against physical and chemical stresses. Hope you understand this, bachcho. ये इसको थोड़ा सा, I think it has, yeah. Got it, bachcho, right? So you know the functions. So now you can tell me, goblet cells are found in simple columnar or compound columnar? Tell me. Goblet cells are found in simple columnar or compound columnar? Simple columnar, very good, because simple columnar, simple epithelium has a function of secretion, absorption, diffusion, exchange of gases, or maybe filtration. A compound epithelium is only protective in nature, so it is not found in any compound epithelium. Very good. Such epithelium, simple columnar epithelium, is found in stomach and intestines in general. Stomach and intestines. Example number one, stomach and intestines. Stomach and intestines. Okay. Now, example number two, small intestine in general, in particular. Small intestine in particular. In small intestine, the epithelium is simple columnar, glandular, brush bordered. Simple columnar, so you can see this columnar, simple columnar, glandular, that there are glands, and the glands in the columnar epithelium are these goblet cells, simple columnar, glandular, and one more thing you heard is brush border. Brush border because this exposed surface of the cell, the membrane is thrown into finger-like projections. The membrane is thrown into finger-like projections. Now, bachcho, this is the membrane folds, okay? And not the whole epithelium is folded, only the membrane fold, and we can call these folds as microvilli. These are microvilli or brush border, brush border, because the surface look like bristles of a brush. The surface looks like bristles of a brush. And my dear children, what is this? Mucus. This is all mucus. So mucus is there. Mucus is always there. Mucus, protective mucus. Here it is not a multi-layered one, so protection, whatever, from the enzyme can be done only by this mucus, okay? I hope you got that. This is simple columnar. A characteristic epithelium in the small intestine is, now you can say with me, simple columnar glandular. Glandular, matlab mucus, and brush border. Brush bordered. Now someone say that, sir, I will not call brush border. I want to say it is microvilli. Yes, you can say. In that case, you can say simple columnar glandular and just write with microvilli. Both are same. You can also say simple columnar glandular with microvilli. This epithelium is only, this whole combination, this is only found in small intestine. And you know the microvilli, these microvilli, they are meant for increasing the surface area. And my dear bacho, you know that small intestine is the main site for absorption and of course digestion. Small intestine is the main site for absorption also. And for absorption, although it is 6 meters long, but for absorption, these microvilli, villi and microvilli, they increase the surface area about more than 1,000 times. Not twice, not thrice, not 10 times, 1,000 times. That's how the surface area increases. Hope you understand. This is about the small intestine. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me, small intestine? Very good. Now, next one. After small intestine, we are doing the epithelial, okay? If you can learn one more example, and you can learn the example of the respiratory passage. Third example is respiratory passage. In respiratory passage, there is a modification, and the modification is that the cells are of two height. The heights are, some cells are tall, some cells are not that tall. Some cells are tall, some cells are not that tall. And because some cells are not that tall, what is happening that when you see it under the microscope, you will find that there are two layers of the nucleus. You can just imagine there are thousands of cells in line and you are seeing it under the microscope, and you can find this as one layer, okay? This has one layer, tall one, this has one layer and this is one layer. So by mistake, it looked like a compound epithelium, but you see all cells lie on a single basement membrane. This is the basement membrane, and all of them lie over a single basement membrane. It is not a compound epithelium. It is not a stratified epithelium. It is a pseudo-stratified. It is a pseudo-stratified, okay? Plus some more modification that we can see here in respiratory passage is that there are cilia, and these cilia are different because they are kynocelia. These cilia are there, cilia, okay? However, respiratory passage, as you all know, respiratory passage, it is lined by mucosa. So you cannot forget the presence of the mucus cells. Okay, so bacho, these are the mucus cells, the goblet cells, the mucus cells, because everywhere is mucosa. It is mucosa. Mucus is there. Okay, so mucus is there everywhere. Mucus is there. So we cannot ignore the mucus cells, and also we cannot ignore the presence of cilia. Cilia, kynocelia, ante these are motile cilia. The normal cilia that we say are actually kynocelia because they are motile. Kyno means something that is motile. So this type of speciality can be found in the bronchioles, in the respiratory passage, and I can learn it. I have learned it, like I just remembered one abbreviation, and I still remember that abbreviation. It is called PSCC GE. Okay, now some of my old students know this, what PSCC GE. They have carried this to their medical colleges also. PSCC GE. So PS is pseudo stratified. Now CC. Now why CC? Because it is ciliated, and it is columnar, and it is mucosa, glandular, and E for epithelium, okay. So the respiratory passage, PS for pseudo stratified. Pseudo means false. It looked like stratified, but it's not. So I remember it as PSCCGE, which is the epithelium of the conduction zone of respiratory passage. But so we will be not doing like for example of this region, of that region. No doubt there are some differences, in little bit differences in different part of the respiratory passage, but in most of the parts of the respiratory passage we can say that this commonly present pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar and glandular epithelium. And in this chapter you can learn this for respiratory passage conduction zone. Now those who have done the chapter of respiratory system nicely, they can just note down conduction zone, and those who have not done, then when I deal with this chapter, at that time you can see conduction zone. Okay, beta. So this is the third example, respiratory passage. There are cilia, there are pseudo-stratified, and please understand that pseudo-stratified is only possible in the columnar epithelium. Statement true or false? Statement, pseudo-stratified epithelium is only possible in the columnar epithelium. True or false? Chepandi beta. Pseudo-stratified is only possible in the columnar epithelium. True, very good, true. Hey, Vijay beta, Mudi Vedu. Vijay, why no beta? I said why it is pseudo-stratified, because there are two lengths. One is a very tall, one is a tall. One is a very tall, one is a tall. This gives the false appearance that it is a multi-layered one. So it can only be possible in the cell where in the epithelium where the cells are tall. Yes, correct. Pseudo-stratified, yes, Joshna, you are right. Durga, you are right. Pseudo-stratified is only possible in the columnar epithelium. Bless it, true. Muhammad Naveed, true. Very good. Very good. So, I think by mistake, Vijay wrote. After that, Sharanya, Durga, Sheshadri, all have given the correct answer. Shravan, Kiran, all have given the correct answer. Yes, you understood now. And respiratory, yes, it is also present in the respiratory passage. It is a characteristic epithelium of the respiratory passage. This type of epithelium is not found anywhere else in the body. I put a hashtag here, and also I put a hashtag. I put a hashtag before this one. And what is this one? This is simple columnar glandular brush border. It is for the small intestine. It is for the small intestine. And well, so these are the examples of the simple columnar one. Example number one was stomach and intestine. Example number one, this one, example. Okay, we are learning the example of simple columnar. Example number one. Example number two, particularly in the small intestine. Example number two, particularly in the small intestine, is this one. Example number three is the respiratory passage conduction zone. How easy it becomes, okay? And just last one more example I want to write here. Just the last example, and all these are questions, beta. How can I leave any one of them? All these are questions, and if you can learn them, no need to do anything else about the animal tissue or epithelial tissue. The fourth example is fallopian tube. Yes. Fallopian tube. In fallopian tube, it is columnar, it is simple columnar. Okay? Of course, it is simple columnar. Simple columnar, columnar, ciliated. So cilia are also present in the fallopian tube because cilia help in the movement of the ovum. You know that fallopian tube, these are around 10 to 12 centimeter long tube, and they are present in the abdominal cavity, and one end of them is free, having these type of finger-like projections. Okay, and the other end is connected to, so this is a infundibulum, and then we have a wider part and we have a narrow part, and after the narrow part then we have the uterus. Okay, the wider part called ampulla, narrow part, and then we have the uterus. So here we have the uterus. Okay, in the fallopian tube, when the egg enters the fallopian tube, there is an ostium here, and through that the egg enters the fallopian tube. Now this egg keeps on moving, it keeps on moving further, and if thankfully if sperms also meet in this direction, then it can be fertilized, or else it will move further, and it will come. Sometimes the macrophage of the fallopian tube, or then otherwise the macrophage of the uterus can engulf them, or sometimes it can come out through the menstrual fluid. It can come out through the menstrual fluid. Okay, so that's what happens to the egg, and you can see that the direction of the movement is because of the cilia, and cilia help in the movement of this egg. And this is the egg or ovum, and here there is an oval shaped structure. As we all know, what is this oval shaped structure? This oval shaped structure is the ovary, right? Just an idea about what the cilia are doing, so that you can all remember, and pictorially also you can remember pictorially also, right? And well, bacho, that's all about this epithelium. Okay, so for example, you have to remember example number 1. Just you have to say, you have to answer. You can say stomach, intestine without any modification, without anything. Then if they ask you about the small intestine, there you can say brush border, because that is the main site for absorption, and therefore more area is always beneficial. Example number 3 is a respiratory passage, and here also cilia, pseudostratified, and of course the goblet cells. Okay, we cannot ignore these goblet cells. Okay, we cannot ignore these goblet cells. And number 4 is the fallopian tube. In the fallopian tube, you have got the simple columnar and also with cilia, simple columnar, ciliated. Achha, one more thing, what the cilia do in the respiratory passage? Now you know that whenever we are taking air inside, we are taking a lot of dust inside. Now you must be thinking, sir, dust? I live in my home. No, I don't inhale dust. If you think that you don't inhale dust, right, you can just see the filter of this AC. And here you need not to wait for long, just wait for 10-15 days, and you clean it today, wait for 10-15 days, take the filter out, and then you will realize that what all we are inhaling. AC also works for only some hours. This works throughout the day. So maybe we are living inside the house, still we are inhaling lot of dust. And you want to see the dust, you can see the filters, okay? Maybe the AC filter or the room, room, what do you call that? Room filter, or what that machine called? I'm forgetting the name. Even my hometown has got that machine. Air purifier, yeah. We have air purifier. In the air purifier also, you can see, and you can take the filter out, and you will realize that we all are inhaling. You understand? So we inhale dust also. Now this dust, big particles are trapped in the hair. So I know I'm showing you very bizarre thing, very weird thing, but as a doctor I have to tell you that in the nostril we have got coarse hair. And coarse hair, it will trap the bigger dust particle, coarser particles. But the finer particles can filter and can go inside. But thanks to the epithelium, you can see that epithelium has got a lot of mucus, and the mucus, these mucus is sticky in nature. These particles stick over the mucus, and these cilia are always in action. The cilia are always in action, right? The moment it is stick over the mucus, the cilia is keep on pushing them, and ciliary beating is one directional, and all cilia, maybe millions and trillions of cilia, they all work together in a synchronized fashion, and they all push in one direction, right? So like this, the power stroke, recovery stroke, and again the power stroke, recovery stroke, and the power stroke. But otherwise, if they are moving like this, they won't allow anywhere. It can move here, there only. But what the cilia are designed for, so they can push in one direction. We have also seen the directional push of cilia in the fallopian tube also, because there is a power stroke, recovery stroke, right? That's a characteristic of ciliary beating, and what these cilia are beating in the respiratory passage is this dirty mucus, right? So this dirty mucus keeps on coming outside. They all beat outside. It used to come in the throat, and we can get some, irritation, and we can cough it out. Or when we brush in the morning, we clean it. Right, so when we brush in the morning, by the gag reflex, we can clean it. So that's how. Okay, so that's how the cilia help. Now, cigarette smoking is it has got so many carcinogens. Now, one of the problem in the cigarette smoke is that it is ciliotoxic, means it can harm the cilia. It can kill the cilia, and you can understand that if you see the lung of a smoker and lung of a non-smoker, where you will find a lot of dust particles, you will find in the smoker's lung, and also you'll find that because a lot of dust is there, and it is not being, the mucus cannot come out, so they keep on having some irritation, right? After chronic smoking of 20-30 years, so you'll find that smokers will come and they say in the night also they start the discussion talking. They do like this. Now this is known as smoker's cough. Smoker's cough. Cough ante dagu. Cough, C-O-U-G-H, cough. This is called smoker's cough. So you understand, these are the 4 examples of the simple columnar epithelium, right? I hope you can remember the examples. Now, example of the simple cuboidal epithelium, you know that simple cuboidal is the tubular part of nephron. Where? Tubular part of nephron. But if they ask you about the PCT, then you can say, yes sir, PCT has got simple cuboidal with microvilli. Why? Sir, because PCT is the main site for reabsorption. More than 99% reabsorption occurs from the PCT. 90% of reabsorption occurs in the PCT. That's the reason PCT has got this modification to increase surface area. And which modification? Microvilli or cilia? Sir, microvilli. A common mistake students do, they write cilia in the intestine. They write cilia in the small intestine. Now what cilia are doing, they are thinking that cilia is pushing the food. Beta, cilia never push the food. Peristalsis push the food. So you have to be very careful here. In all these cilia, only 2 examples. So finally, if you can write like this, you will never make a mistake. For the NEET UG examination, you can write the examples of cilia, only 2 examples for cilia. One is, one example of cilia is the respiratory passage, okay? And the other example of cilia is the fallopian tube, right? So only 2 examples, 1 and 2, cilia. I think now you will not make any mistakes. Cilia, you have to write only at 2 places. Bronchioles, which is given the word given in the NCERT, bronchioles and fallopian tube. Most of the time the teacher will copy that word only, right? So I was telling, so in case of the cuboidal epithelium, you will not find cilia. So those are microvilli in the PCT. Coming to the simple squamous one, in simple squamous, you will remember 2 examples. One is alveoli and one is the inner lining of blood vessels. One is alveoli. We have got simple squamous epithelium, alveoli, and one is the inner lining of blood vessels. Inner lining of blood vessels. Can you tell me what this is? I have shown the epithelium. Can you tell me what this I am making? With this question, I can end the class because your sir is waiting. I can end the class, and I want a promise from you that if you can meet me in the evening, we can meet again in the evening, and I will make you learn the remaining part of the examples, okay? Yes, it is basement membrane. And the other example of the simple squamous is the inner lining of the blood vessels. So beta, I have told you about the simple epithelium I pendi, right? Simple epithelium 3 example, columnar के 4 example हो गया, cuboidal only 1 example. In cuboidal, you can also write the duct of the glands. In the cuboidal, you can remember 2 examples, the tubular part of nephron and ducts of the gland, okay, in cuboidal. After that, the third one is simple squamous. Here 2 examples I have told you. One is the alveoli and one is the endothelium. Endothelium means the simple squamous epithelium of the blood vessels. Are you guys with me? Right? No need to write? Very good. Now, compound epithelium. Only remember 2 examples. Only 2 examples. Compound, only 2 examples. Compound squamous and transitional. Stratified squamous and transitional. First we complete the transitional one. Transitional is found in the urinary bladder. Just like we have got a stretchable jeans now. Right now also I am wearing a stretchable jeans. Now we have a stretchable garment. This epithelium is also stretchable. Okay, transitional epithelium is stretchable. So when the urinary bladder is empty, it is no problem. But when the urinary bladder is filling, it is stretching, and that's the advantage of transitional. So transitional epithelium is characteristically found in the urinary bladder. No other place, only urinary bladder, transitional epithelium. And stratified squamous. Stratified squamous comes in 2 variants. One is the kiss variant and one is the non-kiss variant. Just to make a trick to remember, stratified squamous, I call it one as the kiss variant, kiss, okay, KSS, and one is the non-kiss, no kiss or non-kiss. Okay, so KSS means keratinized stratified squamous. Keratinized, keratin, this is characteristically found in the human skin. And non-keratinized stratified squamous. Non-keratinized stratified squamous, it is found in the buccal cavity. It is found in the buccal cavity. It is found in the esophagus. It is found in the esophagus. It is found in the esophagus, it is found in the anal canal. Obviously, you will not like to kiss anything, right? Non-kiss. Okay. And number 4, vagina, right? You can also write the example of vagina, stratified squamous, buccal cavity, esophagus, anal canal, vagina. Here we have got non-keratinized, and therefore these epithelia are moist. These epithelia are moist, and because of keratin, skin is dry. Skin is dry. If you see that, sir, you are having some sweat on this is not coming through the skin, this is coming through a gland, special gland inside, which is known as the sweat gland. And purposefully it is producing to calm the body, to cool the body temperature, to bring it to the normal. Okay, bachcho? Hope it is clear. Epithelial tissue is only this much. If you can meet me in the afternoon or in the evening, whichever time it suit you, I can even make you or ask you the question so that you recall, and then your points will become more stronger. Okay, so can we meet in the evening or afternoon? Evening 5 o'clock done for you? Evening 5? Evening 5? Examples of kiss skin. Where you kiss on the skin, right? Kiss, KSS, keratinized, stratified squamous, skin. Okay. At 5 o'clock we are meeting in the night, in the evening today. All the very best, guys. Take care.